while since I've been able to post an update on the GT350, and here's why. I just last weekend got it resolved, everything. So it is fixed, it's ready to go. So what does that mean? Or what was the issue? So around, let's recap. So essentially what happened was I took it in, I was feeling a vibration around 60 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour and up. Higher you got, worse it got. Automatically, that sounds like a wheel balancing issue. One of the first things I mentioned was, hey, the wheels might just need to be balanced, or there might be an alignment. One of the things was when I was driving, I also noticed that the vehicle pulled left. The first time I took it was on Monday, May something, I don't know. So that Monday, they said, okay, we'll balance the wheels. They balanced it. It was like 4 hours, which took forever, I thought. They returned the vehicle to me, and they're like, yep, good to go. So I drove it right on the freeway that day, and I noticed, hey, the issue's still there. Keep in mind, I've only had the vehicle since I purchased it for about a week, to where this Monday, where I dropped it off that Monday. And so I still had the issue. I dropped it off on Tuesday, and there was a different service advisor. This guy, I've known him around the dealership that I've taken. It's the same place I've taken my Mustang GT before, but now I'm taking a GT350. That's the only difference. So I've seen him before. He's a really cool guy. He has a GT PP2 at a PP1. And I was driving around, or he came on a road test with me. We were driving around, and he did feel the vibration. And he noticed, and I pointed out, hey, the car is, like the steering is pointing to the left, like it's going towards the left a little bit. It's steering left. So he said, okay, we'll do an alignment, and then we'll do another balancing. Okay, cool. So he did that. A few hours later, I got the car back, and I noticed that it was a tiny bit better, but it was still there. And Wednesday, I had a few meetings that I had to go to for work. So I was able to take it back Thursday. I took it back Thursday. We went on another road road test, and he verified that not only was it still there, but he felt like it got worse. So I dropped it off, and so at this point, I've already taken it 3 times. I dropped it off, and he was doing his thing with it. A few weeks go by down, and basically how it goes down is he noticed that there's some missing bolts missing in the rear subframe, replaced a few things. He also noticed that the springs that were installed in the vehicle were wrong, or non-Magnerite springs. He replaced them with Magnerite springs. At that point, they road tested it again, still saw the issue, still noticed the issue. So then the next thing they did is they looked at the drive shaft and were like, hey, the drive shaft is out of round. That's what they said. Don't know what that means. I'm assuming that there's it's not straight. There might be or it's not rotating correctly. There might be some structural integration, I don't know, issues. Anyway, so then they were like, wait a minute, the GT350 drive shaft, which isn't shared on any other vehicle, is on back order, and they're expected for like August, September. So here we are. They're trying to source out parts. They took they couldn't find any place that had them. They took the drive shaft to, I think, 2 or 3 different drive shaft professional rebuilders, I guess, fixer people. They couldn't fix it because I guess there was an issue with one of the flanges. I don't know how to pronounce it. They weren't available. So at that point, they said, well, okay, now we're gonna look at aftermarket. I was like, finally, okay. So then they got an aluminum drive shaft. Well, they had to get all sorts of approval, and then they finally got an aluminum drive shaft. Took them 2.5 days to install an aluminum drive shaft, but at this point, it was already like 3 weeks in that they had my car. So it's been a month. I haven't had my car for more than a week. So they've had more possession of my car. Throughout this whole thing, I was like, hey, can you guys, like, I don't know what the previous owner has done. Obviously, he's done some fucked up stuff. Some messed up stuff to this vehicle. And I would like the vehicle warranty extended. I had purchased the car with a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty. They extended it to 5-year, 50,000 mile warranty on top of that. So that was great. I still didn't have my vehicle. My first payment was approaching. And throughout all this, I was like, man, I shouldn't have traded in my Mustang GT1. It was all ready to go. It had carbon fiber up the wazoo. It was a great car. It was loud just like I like it. Why am I like fighting over for this GT350? And so I reached out to Ford. They gave me an option to lemon law the vehicle. I wanted to see how much longer it took, or if they could put pressure on the dealership. Sucks, I know, I'm an asshole. Anyway, they put pressure on the dealership. I was able to get, they were able to get the aluminum drive shaft, and then they told me that they still felt the vibration. So what they did is they were sourcing other options. They think it's the rim again. So here I am, and it's approaching Father's Day weekend, and I want to take my vehicle out. So I asked them, they're not answering the phone, so I just showed up and I was like, hey, can I take the vehicle out? Even if it's just driving around the city, I want to take it out. And they're like, yeah, we actually have an update for you. We swapped a set of rims that a other customer's GT350 had with your GT350, and their GT350 has OEM rims, and the issue's resolved. It's not there, it's not apparent. So something's wrong with your rims. I was like, okay, so what's the next step? Well, you could take it today. The dealership said, the dealership representative, but drop it off on Monday. So that's what I did. I took it on that Friday evening. I drove it for a bit, had a good time, and then I brought it on Monday. Monday evening, they call and they're like, it's good to go, it's ready. I guess what they said is neither their recon, where they take in their vehicles to inspect, nor their service department has a special balancing rig, wheel balancing rig. Apparently it's like road balancing. And another sister company or something had that works on performance parts had that, which is interesting to me. I don't know. Anyway, I took it. It felt better, but I still felt a little minute thing. But at this point, I didn't really care because at least it was somewhat drivable on the freeway. So I drove it for a bit, and then last weekend, I was like, I reached out to the representative again. I have it via text. I'm like, hey, I still feel this issue. Can I take it in? And he's like, yeah, we're gonna have to maybe take it into a rim repair shop. And I'm like, that's really strange. I wonder if I could take it to a third, like a different opinion and what they would say. So I took it to a company in SoCal called Salinas Tires that focuses on, I guess, rims and tires and stuff. They have a bunch of really cool machines. I took it, they did another road test balancing thingy-majigger, and they determined that all the rims were really badly out of balancing, but they didn't see any bent or anything that doesn't look abnormal. So they balanced it, and they did a really, really good job. They let me test it without even paying, and they did the first set of rims, the fronts, and then I went for a drive. They're like, take as long as you need, just let us know if it worked. So I did a quick loop around the city, got on the freeway, was able to determine, hey, like the fronts are good. Now I feel it in the cabin more, so it's probably the rears. So they also did that. They balanced the rears, and it's been good to go ever since. So I would say that it's interesting to see how the dealership doesn't know cars as much as like a lot of these third-party people. And it's hard to balance, because something I'm thinking right off the bat is, how do you know that the dealership's always been the best place to take your vehicles, apparently, because like they know your car, this and that. But in this instance, they didn't really know the car too much. But the other devil's advocate side of that is maybe that they didn't really know, like they don't really work with aftermarket rims too much, so they didn't know what to do. But I would imagine that rims are pretty straightforward. Like if you balance them, then the next step is checking the rims for this and that. You know how rims feel. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just happy the vehicle's fixed. I've been able to enjoy the vehicle for the last few weeks. It is by far the best car I've ever driven, and I've driven quite a few different cars. I don't want to go through a list. Anyway, it's as I'm driving, it's been a pleasure to drive. It's been it's been so fun. I did a cat delete when I first got the vehicle, and the pops and bangs that you get is just it's there's no words to describe just how much fun you have while driving a vehicle. So if you're on the fence about getting a GT350, I would do it again. I guess this time I would look for a car that has OEM wheels. Don't get me wrong, I love the wheel setup on the car that it has right now, because it has 305s in the front, 315s in the rear. Great, it looks amazing. The stance on it is definitely, there's no complaints. I love how it looks. But whenever you get aftermarket wheels, and I've learned this throughout having a few cars, is that there's always an extra headache with getting aftermarket rims. And the rims that are on this vehicle aren't cheap. They are, I guess, like almost $2,000 for a set of 4. And they're aluminum forged or some crap, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, it's been a long voyage. I got the car paint corrected because the previous owner really didn't take care of the car, it looked like. I also got the Alcantara steering wheel and a lot of the Alcantara parts inside steam cleaned. And if you don't know about that, steam cleaning, if like you have an Alcantara steering wheel and it's really gummy and nasty, like they don't age very well, get it steam cleaned. Like it gets rid of a lot of that gunk. So yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm gonna create some more videos throughout the next few weeks. I've just been really busy with a lot of different projects, some for work, some for family, some for car. So I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on the car going forward, but I appreciate you guys that have stayed with me through this story. So not story, but through this adventure, you know. So ultimately, I think that, and you know, last thing is, I was really looking at like a Porsche. You know, I feel like if you're looking at Porsche, you're gonna pay Porsche money, but there's a reason for that. There's like, it's a true sports car. You know, it's German engineering at its best. But something that I really love are like V8s and V10s. V12s I haven't had too much experience with. They just sound like, I don't know what they feel like because I haven't had a chance to drive a V12. Anyway, the V8 feels so much more exhilarating than, say, like a Boxer 6. And I feel like the GT350 is a great, like, it scratches that Porsche itch, it scratches the V8 itch, and it scratches like the manual itch. It just scratches a whole bunch of itches. Anyway, so I don't regret, like I see a Porsche and I'm like, damn, that's nice. But I have a GT350. Like it's weird, you know, like they're in completely different price brackets. I haven't driven a GT3 RS, but I've driven like some older Porsches before. So I don't know what the new ones feel like. Maybe I should go and experience that. Maybe it'll change my mind, but for the most part, I'm not missing one. It scratched the itch. I love this car. The pops and bangs, it's not even like a growl. Well, it's growl down low that this car has, but up top, it's like the scream. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys. Drop your comments below. I love reading them. They are, even the ones that are like, all the suggestions, even the ones that are a little aggressive. I don't know why. But yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.